All right, so we're back here in the garage, taking a look at the factory connection. I know I already did a video about this factory connection suspension on the beta here. I just wanted to do another video because I just got done with the winter series at Megatrax, and I had my first time riding outdoor this year on this setup. So let's go over a little bit of what it was for. So this setup, like, this is not a motocross bike. This is a enduro hare scramble GP bike. In the Midwest, we call them GPs. Sometimes hare and hounds. That's an out west thing. But this is that bike. So it's meant to be plush. It's meant to hit holes and roots and like hard things and all everything in between. So it's not gonna be amazing at motocross. It's gonna be something that probably is not the best at motocross, not the best indoors either, because although it's indoors, it's basically motocross. It's really, I wouldn't call it supercross. It's not steep enough. It's not, the transitions aren't steep enough. The jumps aren't, you're not hitting a triple or anything. So yeah, so let's go over some of this. Like, I'll go over the stock stuff. I'll whip out my test Bible, then we'll go over that. So the stock clicker settings. Okay, so let's say this. I'm 215 pounds. When you say when you call factory connection, they ask you what your weight is. You say your actual weight. Do not say your weight plus gear, because they'll configure that in. So don't worry about that. And they try to set it up for a wide range. So I wouldn't worry too much about being like, oh yeah, I weigh 200 and blah, 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 with my gear on and my boots, and don't worry about that, okay? So other than that, this is KYB setup, and factory connection does everything from fully hard. So all the way in and then backed out. So they have 10 clicks 10 clicks out on the fork for compression. I'm sorry. They have 10 clicks out on the shock for compression, and then that's for low speed, and then high speed they have a turn and a half out for high speed. That's that big knob on the rear shock, and then rebound from the rear shock they have 9 clicks, and then the rear spring is 5.6, and then the rider sag is about 105. That's variable. So if you're feeling like you're falling off the back of the thing, you might want to go up on your sag a little bit, and try to, go down on your sag, go up on the rear end. Just try to get some more height out of it. You might feel like you get a little less traction, but it might be better for the front end. And then for the front forks, I have 12 clicks out from compression, and then 10 clicks on the bottom for rebound. The spring is 0.48, and then the fork height is 5 millimeters, and we're at 310 cc's of oil in the fork, and I should have mentioned we are at 125 psi of nitrogen in the shock. So now I'm gonna pause this. Gonna go whip out my test book. I'm gonna read you what happened over the weekend. Outdoors, my first time outdoors, my new setting that I got. So let's go do that now. All right, guys. Here is my test book. I like to write down the date, where I was, the conditions. At Rocky Glen is where I rode the last time to try to get a base setting. And I like the factory connection gives you this. This is what I'm reading off of for the stock stuff. I also put that in my test book here. Is they put starting point. So when they valve it and they mess with the clickers for you, they put starting point. And I like that because that makes you feel like you can actually go change it and not just live off of that and go, that's what I should live off of. They know you're going to change it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have clickers. So first, let's start with the shock. I wanted to do a big change, and because it was muddy and it's really soft dirt, I wanted to start with the rebound first. Anything soft, I've heard, like if you have a good hold up in your fork and chalk, I've heard you want to go rebound first, and that's from Chris Kiefer. He has great videos over on his channel as well on this. And I was just like, well, let me try some rebound first. So I did a big swing. On the shock, you can feel 1 click. I went 4 in on rebound with the shock. So from 9, I went to 13 in. So, or I guess if you want to say I went to 5 out from hard, okay? If that makes sense. Other than that, I didn't do much other changes, but I will go through the rest of what I did. So, what I like to do is I write down what I want to do, what the change I want to make is. And I wasn't searching for something in particular. I was like, let me do this, see how this feels, go back, write a note. Let me do this, see how it feels, go back, write a note. So I did that 4 clicks, and then I write down my result. It was harsh, felt like too slow, if that makes sense. Think about rebound as shaft speed on how fast it comes back out, and the same thing with fork. So the more compression you add, it's shaft speed. Don't think about it as hard or stiff and soft and fast and slow. Don't think about that. Think about shaft speed all the time. It makes it so much more easier. So felt harsh, but it had good qualities. On big bumps and like there's some whooped out sections, I'll inlay some videos. So don't worry about that. I'll inlay some videos. It felt really connected. So when I was going through there, it was like I was able to keep the back end on the ground a little bit more. Instead of hitting something and springing back open, it was just kind of flowing a little bit more, which I really liked. In the corners, and this is going ahead of it a little bit, but in the corners, I wanted something more like not to be sucked down so much, because what I was getting almost too slow in the corners a little bit. So what I ended up doing was backed it off 1. So I went 3 in. I wrote down 3 was better, and when I would slide in a turn, like I'd have that back end out and kind of steer with the rear end, Ryan Villapoto style. I felt like that was much more controlled when I had 3 clicks. So then what I did was I tried to take away some compression on there. So I almost did like a reverse 2 for 1. Are you joking?
What? You need to hang something on the door that says I'm recording.
Alright, I had to cut for a second. We'll just inlay a video right there. How's that sound? Okay, so my slide was better. That's where I was talking about. My slide was better, and I felt more controlled when I was at 3, because when I was at 4, I felt like it was almost just staying down there, and then it would kind of hook and then almost unload later, if that makes sense. So if I was at 3 clicks, I was able to just control it. So then what I did was I went 1 out on compression, almost a reverse 2 for 1. So what I did was, so like every click, go the opposite with your other one. So, or every 2 clicks, go the opposite with the other one. So if you do 2 compression, go 1 out on rebound, vice versa. So that'd be the opposite for this. I tried that with the low speed on the shock, but honestly, I felt like it made it worse. Made the rear end sit low, and I just really didn't like that, especially like in corners, and I just felt like I was falling off the back of the thing. And I think that's because, like as it would come down, it wouldn't come back out, but it was just, think of that shaft speed, like as soon as you, like it's faster in and slower out, but if it's not so fast in, then you won't have to worry about it coming out as much. So I think the real key to what that would be is you open up your, you open up your low speed to get that comfort, and then to get the ride height back in it, you take your high speed on the rear shock, and you close that off a little bit. So you turn that in and get that high speed back in the shock. I think that would really help the ride height attitude if you do that with the rear shock. I think that's a setting I would look for. I didn't do that because I forgot the socket to adjust the high speed on the rear shock. So I settled on just three clicks out, or I'm sorry, 3 clicks in on the suspension side on the rear, on the rebound, and then I was like, okay, we'll just deal with that. That's what I like for this mud here. It feels good. I could have done more, but I think that I know the direction I wanted to go in, so I wasn't too worried about doing something different with the rebound. And I like the way the suspension moves through the stroke, so I didn't want to do too much of a compression change. All right, let's go to the front fork here. I'll try to inlay some video of the front fork, and it's all with a GoPro POV. So I'll try to get some in there where I'm talking about it, because I do, talk to myself when I'm trying to test something like this. The entire time I was riding, trying to figure out the rear shock, I thought to myself, man, this front fork is just soft. And it wasn't too soft. It was just riding low in the stroke. And I felt like that was kind of the balance of the bike thing. So like when I come into the corners on the front brake, I just feel really low and just a little uneasy. So I did the Chris Kiefer 2-for-1. He talks about it a lot. He didn't come up with it, but he talks about it a lot. So I did the 2-for-1, 2 in on compression, 1 out on rebound. So I essentially sped up the rebound, and then 2 clicks in on compression and slow down that shaft speed, and was able to be a little bit more controlled. But first, what I did was I went 2 in on compression and just rode that. I tried, there was like little shelves and stuff. I tried some slap down stuff, as well as just, going over bumps and stuff. See, because if you like the way it feels on like bump touch, but you just don't like the way it feels on like slap down, or you don't like the way, or vice versa, or if you like the way it feels like in holes or in corners, and you just don't like the way it like feels like a comfort setting, or it doesn't come out enough, that's that rebound. So the best way to describe this is the more you turn in your compression, the slower your rebound gets. So it always works together. I've heard it as like the chicken and the egg, like what came first. It's the same. It's the same with suspension. When you turn your compression in, the rebound is also adjusted from that clicker on the compression side. So you just want to be aware of that. So what I did is I rode around on the 2 clicks, then I went back and I adjusted it, 1 out on the rebound, and it was so much better. Slap down was more comfortable. Just initial bump touch was just a little bit better. Just because when you like the wheelie off, it was almost like a shelf. That's what I'll say is. And the way I was testing it was over the shelf. I was kind of giving it a little wheelie and slapping down, and it was just so much more comfortable when I had the rebound out just 1 click faster on the front fork. Because what it was doing was it was just coming out a little bit, and I get that top of the stroke a little bit better, and it comes through just a little bit better in the hands. And I did mess around, and I tried a 2-2 change. So I added another rebound to the front fork, and I just ended up not liking that. Just couldn't get comfy, honestly. It wasn't anything in particular. It just gave me that like uneasy feeling, like kind of how I had before. Just a little bit too like of a pitching feeling, I think, when you go a little bit more rebound, because it comes out faster than on the brakes, on the gas type thing. So it just felt low in the front, and I just went back to the 2-for-1. So that was my weekend setting, just for the initial outdoors. I actually wanted to do this video because, one, I really enjoyed the factory connection stuff. that was my first time outdoors, so I really got to feel what it was actually good at. Not that it can't do indoors, but it's just not set up for that. The internal setting's just not. So I'm super happy about the setting so far. I felt way more controlled and was able to hit stuff faster and able to corner a little bit better and just everything in between compared to the stock setting. So I wanted to cover that. And then, yeah, I just wanted to do that. And then also, the reason why I'm doing this video is because I'm going to start a new thing on my YouTube channel, or on my YouTube website page, that's what I should call it, is I have a website page that is about this YouTube stuff. So there's a lot of information over there that isn't on this side. It's over there on my website. I have articles, I have writings, I have everything in between over there. I got a lot of updates over there. So if you see a product and you're wondering, oh, I wonder what the update is on that, it's probably over there. So I'm starting a new thing over there for the race weekend. It's going to be Jackson's weekend setup or something like that. It's going to be named something like that. You'll see it. Or weekend race setup. You'll see it over there. It's going to be one of the tabs. It's going to have all the races that I attend this year and all the adjustments that I have in the settings from this notebook right here. So I'm just going to copy it down there. It's going to have the date, the condition that I ride in, where it was at, the name of the race, maybe the town. It just kind of depends. Because, you know, sometimes you race like in the middle of nowhere. So it's going to have all of that. I also have Jackson's parts over there, so you'll know exactly what I have for parts. So bars, foot pegs, tires, etc. That's under Jackson's parts. And then there's a page for articles over there as well. So please go look over there. It means so much to me. I spent a lot of time over on my website adding things, revising, updating. I have a lot of updates. If you go on any of those articles, it'll say update. If you scroll to the bottom, it says update. There's pictures over there, so please go over there. And there's an email. So if you go over to my website and you email me any question about the beta, I wish I could answer more things about all bikes, but some of the stuff's universal, so go over there and ask. I'd love to answer any emails. It'd make my day, honestly. So please go over to my website, and I want to say thank you to all my sponsors, Factory Connection, Dunlop, Gaerne, Klim, everyone in between. And I just want to say thank you guys, and thank you guys for watching.